Hello there. Welcome back to Dudes at the Movies. I'm your host, Mason Justic, along with my co-host,
Gavin Murphy.
And today we are hopping off Christopher Nolan finally and moving on to another 2020 movie, The Devil All the Time.
Netflix's The Devil All the Time is based on the book of the same title by Donald Ray Polluck. A young man is devoted to protecting his loved ones in a town full of corruption and sinister characters. This movie stars Tom Holland, Bill Skarsgård, Robert Pattinson, Sebastian Stan, and Jason Clarke. It is directed by Antonio Campos. First off, we gotta say, 2020, it's been hard with watching movies, so getting to see The Devil All the Time, it was, a nice, addition to what we have.
Right. It was I wouldn't say easy, but,
Yeah, it was something to look forward to. Definitely watch once Netflix dropped it.
Just a new film you can finally watch. Mm-hmm. So I was excited watching this, and I was looking forward to watching it too. Even when the trailer came out, just something fresh.
Yeah. But let's get right into into what we like about The Devil All the Time. One thing for sure that you have to mention when you see The Devil All the Time that I just read off was the cast. And I think that this cast is stacked and that everybody does an insane job. And my top three, the standouts, I think, are Tom Holland, Bill Skarsgård, and Robert Pattinson.
I agree, and the cast is full of kind of young actors. Mm-hmm. People are starting to recognize more and give more hype to.
Yeah.
And I was glad to see, especially Tom Holland breaking out of Spider-Man after a couple years, and finally doing something more serious. And I like seeing that from him because I think he's a good actor and I think he has more range than just Spider-Man. And I don't want him to get stuck on that just Spider-Man the rest of his career.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. It was definitely a breath of fresh air to see him not be like this, teenager kid that's got superpowers and all of that.
Quirky kid. I like seeing the serious,
grounded, and going to different kind of roles.
Yeah,
and Tom Holland's got a bright future. He's got a really bright future, especially outside of Spider-Man. I think he's going to do some really good jobs. He's in the Uncharted movie. He's doing that, and it's something cool that I'm looking forward to watch. Because Tom Holland, he's a big star name, and I just want to see him expand on everything else. And I think with The Devil All the Time, he did a really good job stepping into that direction.
Another thing you have to praise is this is it was released on Netflix, but they still shot on film.
Yeah,
and it's always nice to see when a movie's shot in film, especially if it's on Netflix, which is rare. Usually they use digital. But all right, let's get into the goods.
So one thing I really like about this movie is that it's dark. It is really, really dark, and basically every single character is a bad person. And you're really rooting for one character, but even that one character still is he's a bad person, he's done bad things, and it's just kind of, something to see that this town is full of, like it said, sinister people and, people that are just out for evil and then trying to follow, their religion. It's a heavily based movie on religion.
Right, and from the first scene all the way to the end, you just feel uneasy.
Yeah.
It really is, I was going into it expecting some more supernatural elements, but just each character, has their own devil within them.
Yeah.
And I think that was cool with the characters, each being very dark, and they all come from the same place.
Yeah.
And that was cool how they did that.
And then I really liked how these, stories, they kind of tie together. Each scene is kind of, it's a consequence of the thing that happened before.
Right, yeah.
What happens in the beginning, if Bill Skarsgård character didn't get that seat, everything else would have changed because he wouldn't have met his wife, and then the one, Jason Clarke's character wouldn't have met the one girl to become, their Bonnie and Clyde thing.
Yeah.
And then it just springs off to even more things and shows, it's just a spiral of bad things happening because of, consequences. If this one thing didn't happen, then this wouldn't have happened in the long run.
Right, and cool it was cool seeing it, finally, everything just tied together.
Yeah.
And you were just, I don't know, you're kind of waiting for everything to tie together. And
that's definitely one thing because it kind of covers a lot of characters. It gives each character a backstory, which is a nag that I will have later on in the video. But you're kind of you want to see everything. You're wondering at the beginning, why am I getting to know this character and this character? Why aren't we focusing on one character? But at the end, you kind of feel everything is.
And I'm not sure if it if it entirely pays off as well as it should have. As like, because you spend so much time. But the biggest thing I had with this movie, like biggest problem, is the structure.
Yeah.
I didn't like all the time jumps like that, and I didn't like how it transitioned to each character. I thought there could have been smoother ways, such as like a Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
The Hateful Eight, you could have used a chapter system.
And especially, it was kind of surprising that even that this was based off a book. Right. I would have honestly, I prefer, like you said, a chapter structure, because I feel like that would have made more sense with time instead of going to like, you had the narration, which I was fine with. I was fine with the narration, but it kind of just segues, like you jump, 10, 12 years at one point, and you're kind of like,
Yeah, and even when it's not time jumping,
yeah,
it just feels weird transitioning. Like a movie that does this so well, that follows 3 different stories, which you say is a lot like this movie, or like is No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
The way you got Moss, right? Anton and the sheriff, they kind of follow each other. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I know. The way each story transitions in that movie is really how you should do it. Like that's just the perfect way. And that movie's kind of a perfect movie, honestly.
It is.
But I think there could have been better ways of structuring the script and how each character kind of got their own time.
Yeah, one thing I do want to say, and I've seen other people say this, so it's like, it's not my original thought, is that I do think that The Devil All the Time would have benefited from a miniseries. If you have maybe like 4 or 5 hour-long episodes and give more to like each character, or give more like chapters. You know how the Hateful Eight has like an extended version where
I agree.
4 or it's all the chapters are spread out an hour long.
I think that would have been cool.
Yeah,
because then you could you can spend more time with the characters and develop them more, and it would have been better.
And I like the characters a lot. Like, there's a lot of things. Like, Bill Skarsgård character, I was so invested into him for, like, the first 45 minutes, and I really wanted to, like, see what was happening. And then you see him go on this, like, down path. And then, unfortunately, it just kind of jumps to, like, another character after that. It's kind of like, if I kind of want to savor on to, like, that whole storyline a little bit longer and not feel, like, so clustered, I guess. I don't know if you feel the same way, but it was just something for me.
Right, yeah. No, I agree with your miniseries idea and what many people are saying. Like, if you just had the time with these characters more, it would have more of an effect. And this movie was either going to be 2 hours and 15 minutes or a whole, like, 8-episode miniseries, and because you wouldn't want to watch this for 3.5 hours or anything like that. Yeah. So I think a miniseries would have been a better approach, because I did like Antonio Campos.
Yeah, he did really good.
He's a young director.
Yeah,
and this is like probably his biggest movie he's done.
Especially because he's got the cast. And another thing too, I want to say on like the goods is that I like the cinematography. The camera work is really good. There's some really cool shots. And some haunting shots, too, that kind of just, like, make me feel uneasy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those. And he uses, it's like a small thing. It's like the lighting. Sometimes that lighting, like, he goes into the forest at night, and he gives this eeriness off that just, again, sends, like, chills down, like, my spine. And makes me feel all, like, weird as it should be.
Yeah, like I said earlier, like, you just feel uneasy, and the cinematographer and Antonio Campos do a great job working together to give you that feeling, because it's all coming from the shot, you know. And you got to recognize that.
And then the soundtrack, I really like the soundtrack. There are some good songs in there, kind of fits for the time. It's not too many that like make it insane. Sound one of my favorite soundtracks, but when the music was in there, it was kind of a cool part to like. It was cool to just hear the music. I don't know.
Right, yeah. No,
something I like.
No, that's fair. That's good.
But then I do want to say another negative, though. For me, is the writing. Like, kind of the dialogue-ish. There's some times where I think it's really good when Robert Pattinson's character is giving, like, his, speech to, like, the church. I thought it was really good. Again, great acting by Pattinson. But then there's other times that are kind of, like, cliche lines or could have done a little bit more to not feel so, like, just, off. Like, not realistic.
Yeah, I understand.
But other than that, I feel like that's really my negatives, really. I don't know if you have anything else.
Well, I mean, we've talked about this. This is tedious, I know, but Actors who don't know how to smoke a cigarette just make me upset. It was really mostly Bill Skarsgård, a little bit of Tom. I don't know. I feel like they got better with Tom Holland, but
yeah,
they pretend to smoke it and then they just blow out right away, and that's something that bugs me. Me and my father with like movies.
Yeah.
So that's just a small thing I know, and it's not gonna take away from my score. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, come on. But yeah, one thing I really like the ending scene with the narrator. I'm not gonna spoil it, but like, if you see the movie, I like that last shot with the scene. It's nice, yeah, that was cool, and I liked it was kind of an open-ended ending too. I like that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Cool, it was definitely something to see again without spoilers. That it was kind of like you feel kind of complete on this journey. Like you feel like kind of satisfaction for everything that's happened, and then you're still like left with like, oh, what's going to happen after this? Which is again something I really liked about it, and it was cool to see. But other than that, you ready to give your score? Do you have anything else to say?
I am ready.
All right. Do you want to go first or me?
I'll go first. I'm going to give The Devil All the Time a 7.5 out of 10.
Funny you say that because I'm also going to give The Devil All the Time a 7.5 out of 10.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. It's really enjoyable. Again, there's problems with the structure, sometimes the writing, mainly the structure. It could have been changed a little bit better or worked on a little bit better, but still a really good, dark, and eerie movie that I think a lot of people should check out. Anything else to say?
Yeah, it's an interesting story. It could have been better, but I'd recommend it to those who want something new and something fresh for a 2020 movie. So yeah, there you go.
Other than that, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know how you feel about The Devil All the Time, what you guys think in the comments below. And after that, that's it. See ya.